Coming up now on Animal Outtakes, a self-taught cat trapper takes a leap of faith, which has led to saving more than 4,000 animals. We're learning about the Runaways Rescue in Pasco County, Florida, where we meet local legend Hash Brown, who shows us all animals deserve a life filled with compassion and kindness. And helping young corals survive their first weeks in their new home, we're finding out more about the Coral Defender and what it can do to give newly outplanted corals a chance at life. Plus, a baboon at ZooTampa gets a clean bill of health after a unique surgery saves his quality of life. This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. At the Runaways Animal Rescue in Pasco County, Florida, their mission is to advocate for all companion animals in need. That means whether it's a dog, a cat, a rabbit, or even a hairless rat, each animal is guaranteed a second chance at a good life. Founder Danny Giroux says owning a rescue wasn't something she planned on doing. She says her passion, paired with a little luck and a lot of love, led her to create a temporary home for animals facing euthanasia.
Today we have our clinic day, so we just were fortunate enough to hire a veterinarian, and so she comes here once a week and she does all of our spay and neuter surgeries. So right now we have kennel techs cleaning and taking care of dogs. We have animal care on cat side, cleaning and taking care of the cats. We have surgery. We have techs here, so it's kind of a crazy Monday morning. This is where the cats go before they go in our cat rooms, because we have like cat rooms with multi-cats in them, and so they have to do like a quarantine period and get vaccinated and fixed before they come into here. But we just got these condos this year. The Runaways Animal Rescue is a pretty small team, actually. We have a staff of 5, but most of our shelter is actually run by volunteers. We have about 125 volunteers who run our shelter and take care of our dogs and cats and rabbits every day. That's Daphne. Daphne came in with her kittens. This is Spartacus. And so Spartacus came to us, he just showed up at somebody's house. And so we took him in, and then shortly after we realized that he has asthma. Yeah, so he's one of our special needs animals. He gets an inhaler once a day. And then soon, eventually, we'll hope to wean him off of the inhaler so he's not on it every day, maybe get maintenance dose like twice a week or once a week. The Runaways came from, I had actually moved to Pasco County. I had always lived in Pinellas County my entire life. And when I moved to Pasco, there was cats everywhere. So in Pinellas County, I didn't have stray cats in my neighborhood. And so when we moved to Pasco, the day I moved in, there was this cat on my front doorstep. And my sister and I had always been involved in animal rescue. We had volunteered at shelters and did stuff like that. But I had always had cats, but I didn't know about cats. I didn't know about outside cats. And so because I'm an animal lover, I started feeding him. And then with him, more cats came, and I was feeding these cats, and then there was kittens in my neighbor's yard or kitten across the street, and I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? We can't just leave these kittens out here. So I went to the internet and I learned about something called TNR or TNVR, which is trap, neuter, vaccinate, return. And so I bought a trap. I learned how to trap a cat. And so I started trapping these cats in my area, getting them fixed, vaccinating them, returning them. And that kind of snowballed, right? People in the area were like, oh, you fix cats? I have some cats. Can you come fix cats? So I worked a full-time job for an insurance company, but on my spare time, I was out all over the place trapping cats and fixing them and releasing them. I was like, you know what? Pasco County really needs another support, right? For help with cats, with help with dogs. And so I decided to start a nonprofit. Famous last words, I thought it was going to be a small nonprofit. So there are not a lot of organizations for rabbits who take in rabbits. And so we get requests, every week, multiple a week for people for help with rabbits. A lot of rabbits that are outside So these two particular two, they were just rabbits that somebody had like found outside, which I assume they were somebody's rabbit that they could no longer care for. And people think, oh, rabbits live outside, I'll just let them go outside. I filed for our 501 in February of 2020. And we had our first on-site fundraiser, and then the world shut down because it was COVID. I was like, wow, it was terrible timing, but we made things work and doing donations online and stuff like that. And even in the midst of COVID, with the world shut down, we went from having like 10 foster homes to like 30 foster homes. And so we could really see that the community needed it and that they needed help. And so at the end of 2020, we were approached by a foundation who was like, hey, we see all this good work that you're doing. What if we bought you a building? There's 3 of them, there's one coming out up there. They were an owner surrender. We are fortunate, we went looking for buildings and we bought this. And then we opened officially at the end of 2021. And since opening now that it's 2025, we have saved over 4,000 animals. I tell people all the time, like, it's like mostly hard work, but also like dumb luck, right? That like somebody happened to see us, like what are the odds, and saw what we were doing. It just happened to be somebody that at one time I had got kittens from. They kind of just saw like what we were doing, and the rest is kind of history. So for dogs, our average length of stay, I think, is right around like 25 days. So our length of stay is a little bit higher because we do take those medical ones who they have a bone repaired and it might take 6 weeks recovery. We'll make them available, but it takes long, or they have a special surgery. So with the special one, sometimes it takes a little bit longer for them to become available. Mainly our animals come from partnering municipal shelters. So our mission really is to focus on animals that are most at risk. So those are animals facing euthanasia due to space at shelters, medical cases, special needs animals, neonatal kittens and puppies, things that they're gonna be first on the list for euthanasia because they just don't have the capacity, the care to keep those animals long term. So most of our animals come from shelters. So we're partnered with shelters all over the state of Florida. We stay in the state of Florida because a lot of people don't realize that the state of Florida is number 4 in highest euthanasia in the country. So we got a lot of work to do in that. And so having smaller private shelters like ours, partnering with municipal shelters, we're able to help them not euthanize as much and not euthanize for space and have a positive outcome. So this is Hash Brown. Hash Brown is 2 years old, and we've had him since he was 8 weeks old. He was born with spinal malformations, so similar to scoliosis in people. He does have some feeling in his legs, so he's not paralyzed per se. He can't get up and walk, so he uses this. He actually gets around really fast on 2 legs too, but he uses this cart that was built for him. We had a custom built wheelchair for him. But he's one of our longest, he is our longest resident now, I think. Our goal is to find them homes, and so the sooner the animals we have in our capacity find homes, then we have space to save more. So really, we do have an application process where a potential adopter would fill out an application. But basically that's it. Once approved, they have to be a certain age. Usually it's 21 years old. We find them a home. That's Grape Jelly. She's very cute. She was dead live for euthanasia because you can see she has a skin condition. We're still trying to figure it out. I think that animals are life-changing, right? They give you that companionship, that unconditional love that maybe a lot of people don't give, especially out in the world, right? It's not always a kind place, and to come home to somebody who's happy to see you. It doesn't matter how bad your day was. I think that animals, they just bring so much joy and I think that people, sometimes they see, oh, it's more work, or I have to walk a dog, or I have to scoop a litter box, but for me, I think what you get in return is way worth that. This is Jada. She has Cushing's, so she takes a medication for it, so it causes hair loss. We don't just partner with our municipal shelter, we partner with other rescues, we partner with other private shelters. We just hired a veterinarian, and so we're now opening our services to other rescue and shelter partners to be able to utilize our services who can afford to hire a veterinarian, or maybe they don't have a shelter. And then soon, hopefully in the future, we'll be able to do that for the community, right? Like we'll need to build a clinic or something, but to be able to provide those services for the community. So I think that people see that, right? That we just try to make it as like an accepting and like welcoming place here as we can. We tried to make it not seem like a lot of shelters are sad or like institutionalized or cold, or, you know, there's dogs barking all the time. So we tried to make it fun and like an enjoyable place for not only the animals, that's what the main goal was, make it happy for the animals, but also for the people. So this is Tommy. He came to us as an owner surrender because he has something called osteogenesis imperfecta, which basically means brittle bones. And so when he was a baby and growing and they didn't know that he had this condition, he was getting small fractures in his legs and his pelvis. Now he is on a supplement every day. He takes a Tums, actually. He takes a Tums every day to help strengthen his bones, and the cortex of his bones is coming back. And so he gets around a little bit different, his a little wobbly walk when he walks, but he loves dogs, he loves cats, he loves people. He doesn't know that he's any different. All animals are deserving of a second chance. They're all deserving of love. And a lot of times I think that like stigma happens with animals in a shelter, that people think they're broken, or they're there because no one wants them, or they're bad, or they bite, or they're behavioral, but that's not the case at all. All of our animals are just as great as the next. They're give you love and attention, and I think that like that's the biggest thing, because people, you know, they think that animals here are shelters. I think not a lot of people, but some people have that association that like, oh, they're at a shelter because nobody wants them. But it's like, and I feel like when you adopt a shelter pet, I feel like they're even more like appreciative, right? Like they give you more love because they know what it's like to not have love, or to not have food, or to not have shelter, you know? So they're like the best animals.
If you'd like to learn more about the Runaways Animal Rescue, they're active on social media. You can also log on to runawaysanimalrescue.org. They're always looking for volunteers and donations. Coming up after the break on Animal Outtakes, a new pilot program is underway, hoping to safeguard newly outplanted corals on Florida's coral reefs. That's next.
Every animal that finds its way to Farmhouse Animal and Nature Sanctuary has a story. Some are beyond heartbreaking. But here, we focus on the future. We make sure each animal will spend the rest of their life feeling safe, loved, and protected. To help the animals at FANS, visit farmhousesanctuary.org. Learn more about becoming a volunteer and how to donate. Will you be the one who makes a difference? Donate today to help the animals who call Farmhouse home. Looking to get away for a few days, but nervous to leave your furry friend? Leave your worries behind. At Donte's Den, we offer safe and secure boarding options for your dog or cat. We know your pet is part of the family, so we provide a comfortable environment with experienced caregivers who offer personalized attention. We have a fully equipped medical facility, spacious accommodations, daily activities like swimming and agility, and staff is on site 24/7. Log on to dontesden.org for reservations.
Welcome back. The Florida Aquarium and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission's Fish and Wildlife Research Institute have started a new project in hopes of helping newly outplanted coral survive predators. The Coral Defender was recently deployed for the first time on Florida's coral reef. It's a biodegradable, 3D printed tool designed to safeguard newly outplanted corals.
It is a 3D printed structure of biodegradable material that is used to place over top of an outplanted coral, just like that, essentially. and it is just meant to simply physically be over top of the coral to prevent parrotfish or other fish that may come and take bites out of the coral tissue when the corals are newly outplanted onto the reef.
The use of biodegradable materials hopes to provide early protection from fish predators, which will help corals survive past their first weeks in the new reef environment.
Corals that we grow here at the aquarium are typically about the size of a quarter when we bring them back to the ocean. And it is important to try to protect these corals when we first put them out there because they're only this big, and a lot of coral outplants in their first 1 week or 2 weeks directly after outplanting, parrotfish will come with their beaks and take scrapes of the live tissue.
Aquarium officials say these fish species are vital to reef health, but their powerful teeth can also damage young, outplanted corals, leaving them vulnerable to fatal injuries.
So we're hoping that these 3D printed structures help physically block the parrotfish or other fish from coming to take bites from the coral.
During a recent restoration effort, divers outplanted 660 young corals raised at the aquarium onto 4 reef sites in the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary.
So this is an initial project to test this material, see how long it lasts in the ocean for. We don't know if it will break down after a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, but we're hoping that this project will lead to that information so that we can expand in the future.
To test the effectiveness of the new technology, scientists put coral defenders on half the corals distributed among the 3 species to compare them to the outplants without the coral defenders. Biologists say the material used to print the coral defenders is made from something that naturally degrades in the marine environment and only produces carbon dioxide and water in the process. Researchers hope the coral defender will provide a temporary but critical safeguard, improving coral survival rates. FWC will monitor the corals at timely intervals over the next 18 months to determine the coral defender's success.
They will be going back periodically to monitor the corals and the structures to see how they do over time.
Stay with us. There's more Animal Outtakes coming up next. A baboon at ZooTampa officially gets a clean bill of health after undergoing a rare and remarkable surgery. Officials say in a collaboration spanning the worlds of veterinary care, human dentistry, and surgery, ZooTampa at Lowry Park partnered with local medical specialists to treat a rare dental condition in a 6-year-old baboon named Silas. The unique case highlights the powerful impact of cross-disciplinary medical collaboration. ZooTampa veterinarians first diagnosed Silas with a cyst, a fluid-filled sac surrounding an uninterrupted tooth. It's a condition rarely observed in humans or the larger primate family. Given the complexity of the case, ZooTampa sought expertise beyond the traditional veterinary medicine, enlisting the help of renowned human medical specialists. Dr. Geyer and Dr. Longmire worked alongside ZooTampa's animal health team to plan and perform the delicate procedure. They were able to safely remove the cyst. The complex procedure took place last fall, and veterinarians have continued to monitor Silas' recovery. The team recently conducted a follow-up assessment and officially confirmed Silas' complete return to health. Coming up next on Animal Outtakes, we introduce you to some of the old-timers here at Donte's Den Foundation as we're celebrating the long lives they've been able to live at our sanctuary.
Animal Outtakes is produced by Donte's Den Foundation, a nonprofit group dedicated to creating the best life for dogs. If you would like to learn more about Donte's Den, donate, or volunteer, visit our website, dontesden.org.
My golden years at Donte's Den are filled with long, happy hour naps, food that makes me feel good on the inside and out, along with just enough engagement to make me ready for another nap. I'm a red-boned coonhound mix, and at 12 years old, I'm still a sweet southern gentleman. My history proves I'm eager to please and tend to follow the rules a bit better than some of my counterparts. But as the saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I'm thankful the caregivers here at Donte's accept me for who I am. They let me put my nose to the ground and fulfill my instinctive, endless need to sniff things out. They also make sure I get my sweaters when it's cold and plenty of blankets to nuzzle in for comfort. I'm proud to say at this age I'm pretty healthy, although I'm prone to ear infections. But Marcia makes sure I always have the medicine I need when I need it, so I'm not in pain. I like to tell my friends here at the dens, I'm not aging, I'm just becoming a classic.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. At least that's what my favorite humans always say. And they give me my daily prescription of love and hugs and kisses. My days at Donte's as a 14-year-old beagle mix are filled with time spent perusing the perimeter area looking for the daring lizard that may have made its way into dangerous territory. I may not have the same speed, but my nose still works just fine. I relish the divine biscuits they give me when it's time to head in. I can smell them a mile away. I first came to the dens back in 2016. I was adopted to a family a few months later, and life was okay, but my health was suffering. Luckily, I had the chance to come back. Upon return, I was severely overweight and both my ears were infected. It didn't take long for the staff here to fix me and get me back to a healthier lifestyle. I think it saved my life. One of the things I look forward to the most are my afternoon strolls. It's good exercise, and it gives me a chance to get some one-on-one attention from some of my favorite people.
Just like Annabelle, I recently celebrated my 14th birthday. I am growing old gracefully here at Donte's. The mutual understanding I have with the caregivers here makes my days calm, and the consistency affords me a life of wanting for nothing. I do have issues with arthritis that flare up, but thankfully I am on regular meds to keep it manageable. It's important I keep moving. I do lots of laps around the pool. As for swimming, no way. It ruins my hairstyle. As an Akita, I rather enjoy my boutique sessions from the girls here, with a good brush on special days. My most favorite treat is the chew stick, which helps with my teeth. I've heard someone say growing old is mandatory, but growing up is optional. And because of the attentiveness and consideration from the people here, I still have days where I feel young, and I enjoy just being a dog. It's the simple things that make life as a senior something I thrive at.
I am one of the younger old-timers at 11 years old, and I feel like I have a lot of life left to live. I arrived at Donte's Den all the way back in 2015. I came in with 2 puppies I had given birth to just before getting here. Thankfully, they were adopted and found forever couches to go to. As for me, I could never seem to find the right fit, and maybe that's because the care I get here suits me well. I tend to have issues getting along with other dogs, and of course, that's not my fault. I just know how to behave better than them. The good news for me is that Donte's is equipped to handle personalities like mine. I am prone to zoomies, and I am always given the time and the space to get them out of my system before settling down for a rest, snuggled up tight. A warm bed, a good walk, and lots of love. That's all a girl like me can ask for. Well, maybe a treat or two as well.
We hope you had fun and learned a thing or two along the way. And we'll be back here again next week with even more animals and some engaging encounters. Until then, thanks for watching.